Do you think you're brave?
Think you're not afraid of things that go bump in the night? Prove it.
Test your courage at Bingemans Screampark, if you dare.
Or do you think that you might get the heebie-jeebies in the maze that awaits you?
Might you feel a tingle on the back of your neck as you trek through the soulless swamp?
There are creatures in those woods, you know.
They can see you, but you can't see them. Not right away, anyway.
Let's see how brave you are at the slaughter shed.
Don't worry too much. If you can't take the frights, you can calm your nerves and refuel at the blood bar.
You may not be quite as brave as you think you are once you step in Screampark.
You have been warned.
Screaming season is here!
Welcome to Bonn Park.
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 We've got big news.
Do we ever? We have a brand new website.
And so many amazing things to check out on it.
BonnPark.com.
What can we find there?
You can listen to our episodes right on the site.
You can check out the Bonn Park community blog.
You can find out how you can partner with us.
Oh, and the shopping. We have so much fun merchandise.
I'm going to buy myself the I'm the Marshall Ward tote.
Me too.
BonnPark.com. Check us out.
Sarah, I am so happy that you joined me for VIP night at Bingemans Screampark this year. It looked like you were not going to be joining me, but the moment you said you were, I knew this was going to crank up the fun by 100%, and you delivered. It was so fun to go to Screampark with you and about 12 of our friends.
You're right. It was a long conversation that I wasn't coming. I agreed on the spot when we interviewed Mark Bingeman a while back. And then months later, I emailed you and said, hey, buddy, I've been thinking about this and I just can't do it. And you said, no problem. As you do with everything, no problem. No big deal. That's fine. And then that day I felt some positive peer pressure. You were kind of excited to go. Some of the friends were excited to go.
My sister and brother-in-law.
Yeah. Another friend of ours was texting me saying, she was saying, are you going to hold my hand? And I realized it would be scarier for me to sit in the car in the parking lot and wait for all of you than it would be to join you.
Right. So this would be the third time my family has gone to Screampark, which makes it now an annual tradition. And we had such a good time. I really felt like it was the best one yet. And just hearing all the shrieks and screams that we recorded along the way, we took our recording equipment in there and Sarah captured all the amazing sound.
So I changed the batteries in the H4n Pro handheld recorder, which actually, if you're into paranormal shows, that's what they use in those shows. One of those things to hear all those sounds.
Yeah.
And they crank them up and filter them out and play with them. But I changed the batteries before we went in because I thought, I don't know if my hands are going to work on the inside.
Right. Yeah, or how much we can see.
How much we could, which was not a lot sometimes. No, there was. I don't want to give anything away, but there was some questionable moments for our well-being.
Yeah, Screampark is just such an immersive experience. Yeah. I would recommend it to anybody. Thank you so much to Bingemans for inviting us for VIP night. We had such a blast, and we've been talking about it ever since.
Yep. Thank you to Jasmine, Andrea, Mark, Steve. Who else did we talk to? Chris. Yeah,
as Sarah knows, I've been a huge horror fan my whole life. I love the whole horror genre. Yeah, horror movies, horror toys, horror comic books, horror art, horror music. I absolutely love it all. I have an insatiable appetite for it. I never tire of it. Put me in a store that has DVDs, and I always head right to the horror section. Sarah does not share that love of horror.
I do not.
Yeah, and but I'm so happy you went in there with me, and I'm so glad it was a great experience for you too. And I think you'll hear in our show here as we talk to some of the folks at Bingemans that how much passion and excitement goes into just crafting that yearly event.
They work so hard on it. It's obvious how hard they work on it. It's a passion project for them for sure.
Okay, so we kicked off the night in the parking lot talking to Andrea Conyers.
Yes, I'm Andrea Conyers. My role is the amusement operations manager here at Bingemans. One of the attractions that falls under my umbrella is Screampark, and this is our 15th year scaring people in the area. We have people that come from all over the place because horror seems to have a culture following. We have people that have been here every single year since we started and have seen us grow from the very first year that we had it when we were at a different location to now what we call the Horror Trail. We start building this in July. We call him the Scream team. Steve Howenick, which you'll be able to speak to soon. He's part of it, which kind of frightens me sometimes because he comes up with some of these ideas. So it's kind of creepy. And the funny thing is I'm not a good horror person, but my team in here, the Scream team, they get us every single time we go through. This year we have 5 different attractions in Screampark that you go through on the trail. 2 returning ones that have been very, very popular is called The Lot and the Slaughter Shed. They were by far the most popular when we asked our guests from last year. And then we have 3 new ones. Not going to give them away what they are, but one of them has a lot of clowns because people don't like clowns. So yeah, it's been great. And tonight is our first kickoff, which we do with our actors. We kind of do a dry run to kind of get used to everything. And then tomorrow we kick off our night to our public, and tickets can be bought online. We highly recommend tickets online because we do time ticketing to make sure that the guests get the best horror experience possible. And they can find the tickets on our website at screampark.ca.
Nice.
Did I just hear a baby crying?
Yes.
Marshall and I were intrigued about the hiring process. Like, how do you find these actors? And we asked Andrea about that.
We do group auditions. So we do group auditions because we really get to see how our actors interact with each other. We ask them a bunch of really odd questions. We actually get them to scream. We ask them if they can do any weird things. Like, we have one girl that can do a backwards crawl towards you, and it's pretty creepy, I'm not gonna lie. And she's out there tonight, so be careful. There you go. And then we ask them, like, do they like clowns or zombies? And we do have a lot of actors that are in the Tri-Cities here that go to drama school or acting school. We do get a lot of high school students, a lot of university students. You want to read her? That's Chris.
Andrea, where do we cut through?
Over there.
It wasn't open for us.
I can show you.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
We're going back this way, friends.
She is fantastic. This is the group from Carnival, Cannibal Carnival. So that's where the clowns are. And you can't bypass it. You have to go through.
Oh, that's a great question. I heard there's a chicken count.
There is a chicken count.
I plan to be on this list. How do I get out if I need to get out?
You just sit there and start screaming chicken. And then
Do I
somebody...
scream chicken?
You scream chicken.
Okay.
But sometimes it's worse.
Then chicken?
Sometimes it's worse than continuing.
Oh, no.
Yes. This year we have 50 actors and approximately 30 to 35 volunteers. We have volunteers that are looking for their high school hours, so they come and there are filler spots. It's a lot of fun when we do our auditions with our staff.
So another question I have for you is that this must be physically and emotionally draining on these actors to do this.
Yes.
You want to talk a bit about that? I would be exhausted at the end of the night.
Yeah, our the most is about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours of haunting. We do provide lots of water for them because a lot of them are, as you can hear as Chris wandered by, a lot of them use vocals, so we do provide a lot of water. And it is at the end of the night, they are tired. They're really tired, but they're also very energized because they've had some chickens. Okay. She'll find you.
So my last question, unless Sarah has one, has to do with, for you personally, what are some of your most visceral frights? We all have, when we talked to Mark Bingeman said, we've got, if you don't like claustrophobia, we've got that. If you don't like spiders and bugs, we've got that. We're good. We've got every fear covered. Can you talk about that?
For me, honestly, it's the unexpected. It's kind of like the jump scares. Like there's some creep scares in there and there's psychological scares. But for me, it's a jump scare. I remember like so vividly, one year we had a house, it was called Soul Asylum. And it was one of the houses up top there. And you had this glow stick. And the object was to get through this house with your soul still. And the actors inside, their job was to get your soul. So we wandering through, and we went through this huge room that was full of coffins, and some were opening and some were closing, and you didn't know what was happening. And then as you came around a corner, there was this huge statue, and it was a gargoyle, and it was frightening. Like it was huge, had to be 7 feet tall. As we walked by, there was an actor in the suit, and I didn't know that. And he literally got down and came up behind us. All I remember was screaming, throwing my glow stick at him, saying, "You can have my soul, you can have my soul." And I took off. That's all I remember. So it's like that kind of unexpected. Is that a clown? Is that a statue? Is that a something, right? And you're kind of like, I'm not sure. And you walk away, and the next thing you know, it's an actor. So yeah, those are the things that get me.
Are you lying about the chicken thing? Like if I yell chicken, is it as bad or worse? Or
Well, they'll come and get you, and then
who's coming to get me?
one of the actors, one of the creepy actors.
Right, okay,
And then
okay.
they're gonna take you, and then they're gonna be like whispering in your ears and stuff like that.
Okay.
Now, just remember,
Yeah.
none of it's real.
That's totally gonna help.
That creepy voice you heard while we were interviewing Andrea was Chris, one of the actors, and we had an opportunity to chat with her as well before we went into Screampark.
Screampark has been super fun, super just, yeah, I know.
When you walked by earlier, I almost fainted. Okay.
But they've been super awesome and welcoming and like really encouraging of all the arts and everyone that has any interest whatsoever in any side of it. I'm an actor myself, and I came across an Indeed posting I think last year, and I was really interested because with the pandemic and everything, it's been really hard to find any acting jobs. So I took a shot and applied for it because I didn't know what it would bring. And last year I really found a family at Screampark, family of creeps that really love haunting everyone and spooking them and loving horror. And I knew I had a horror-loving heart, but I was kind of just scared of everything at the same time. But I've really grown to accept a side of me and just welcome in a little darkness, a little kookiness, creepiness. But yeah, it's been awesome.
So, ever intrigued, we asked Chris what her most visceral fright is.
It's a thriller. Anything thriller that's got a real, just kind of creepy music. They're suspending it for longer than 10 minutes and you don't know what's gonna happen. That gets me because I'm on the edge of my seat, come on, I need something. And then it's normally something super messed up, and then at that point I'm oh my god, no.
I know what it's like to experience Screampark from my vantage point. What's it like from your vantage point? Like, you're putting all this energy and sweat and soul into this, but you're seeing the reactions of people. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's really rewarding to see the reactions. Like, we did a walkthrough on Tuesday, and it was coworkers and spooking them and like standing up on the box, and just I was juggling plastic baby heads and seeing them get frightened. I was like, this is awesome. Last year I did a creep scare, and just having people like walk into the forest and see my character crawl out from behind something and already be like, no, not happening, and like book it. I was like, yeah, I'm doing a good job. It's super, I love it so much. It's so much fun.
We asked Chris what it must be like for the performers at the end of a good night at Screampark.
I feel probably like the dead corpses you'll see at a blood bar that are inside the coffins.
Great.
Yeah. You're exhausted. You put everything into it, and like as an actor, like I know different methods of like not putting your entire energy into it. Like you want to be kind of at 60-70% consistently every night. But even that much by the end of it, I'm dead. Just gone, exhausted. Can't move. Just ready to I hit my bed, I hit my pillow, and I'm gone. So he's like, I'm done.
Just can you go easy on me? That's all I'm asking.
I'll try.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Marinelli, and I'm the marketing coordinator for Bingemans. This is my first year doing it, as I'm new to the role, but I'm so excited. I was a patron of Screampark for the past, I would say 6 years. I loved Screampark prior to this role. I'm so excited. This is going to be a really great season. I have heard. I can't lead on to what's going to be in store. Lots of horror, lots of screams, lots of fear. Tonight, we are having our VIP night, so we're quite excited about that. We're expected to have over 650 people, so it's going to be an incredible night for sure to kick off Screampark. We're excited for this weekend as well. It's our opening weekend, and we can't wait to scare the region and welcome all those from other regions to come in and go through the most haunted attraction. Yes, absolutely. I think it's definitely the most terrifying attraction. I've been to a lot of the other ones in Ontario, and this has definitely been the one that has made me cry and scream and potentially chicken, but not there yet. Let's see this year what's going to happen. But yeah, absolutely. I think this is the most terrifying I personally have been through.
Okay, we're just minutes away from going into Screampark. We're getting super excited now, and we have just a few minutes to chat with our friend and one of the first guests on the Bonn Park podcast, Colin Hunter, and his sister Allison.
So yeah, our family reunions, instead of doing normal things like barbecuing and drinking beer, everyone is required to write an academic paper and read it to the group, and then have the group critique it. And Allison, what was the topic? What was your title?
It was the history of haunted houses, because Colin and I were fascinated by a really rinky-dink dark ride at the Western Fair in London when we were kids. So we had to pull on something from our past, so that's what I chose. And but I'm a horror fan, and I do enjoy this, but beforehand I'm not sure I will. I'm a nervous enjoyer, I guess. Yeah.
But you studied the art of it.
I did. I went back and looked at. I really got into it. I was expecting. I went in with this thought that the reason we have haunted houses in North America is because we're so privileged, right? Like, we don't have any immediate fears in our real life. This was before COVID. So I guess now it's been tempered by this giant existential threat. But we live these pretty cushy lives. And I thought, this is why we have things like haunted houses, so that we can experience fear in a safe environment and then have the catharsis of laughing right after. And that's what I've noticed with myself. The minute after I scream, then I just laugh like crazy. But then in my research, actually, I found like all of these examples of like people like troops who were in war zones and who, if they had a night, would like set up a little haunted house. Like, people still crave it, and I think it is just like that letting go of emotion that you're kind of not allowed to do so much as an adult in sort of everyday life, but you sort of feel like a kid and have that kind of emotional experience. So, yeah. And I did also learn, maybe I shouldn't say it too loud, but the trick to the haunted house, so that if you're really scared, it's very counterintuitive, but if you're going through with a group, you should go at the front. Because haunted houses make their bread and butter on how many people they can get through in an hour. So they need you to keep moving forward, because if you run backwards, then you're going to ruin the scare for the group behind you. So all of the scares are going to try and push you forward. So the first person is probably not going to get the brunt of it, because they're going to want to scare the people at the sides or behind to keep you moving. So everything about haunted houses is counterintuitive. I think that's why they work so well. So.
Did you get an introduction?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. So I'm Allison Hunter Stewart, the sister of Colin Hunter, and I'm a teacher in the area, and I enjoy horror and haunted houses, but it doesn't mean I'm not terrified to go in them to begin with. I hope I won't see it here, but I have this pathological fear of spiders. When I was a kid, all my nightmares were about spiders, and it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, but if there's a spider in my house,
That's why.
Yeah.
It's too many legs.
Yeah.
You can't trust them.
I actually once read that the reason why people are either afraid of spiders or snakes or both is because it's really hard to predict their movement.
100%.
Because they don't have four legs. We understand how four legs works. We understand that. See? Look at that.
Totally.
So I have this visceral, and I really tried to tamp it down when I became a stepmother to a little girl, because I was like, I don't want you to get this from me. So but it still is deep in there.
Do you want to be completely grossed out with my spider story? Or?
Yes.
It's bad.
I'm ready.
It's pretty bad.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Did it lay eggs in your brain?
Oh, God, no, it's not that bad. I mean, not that I know yet, I guess. This was quite a while ago, because I grew up next to a huge forest. Our house backed onto woods, and that was my playland and my life, but there were spiders everywhere. And once, when I was maybe 14 years old, I woke up to like a tickling feeling. Yeah. And pulled a spider out of my nose. No, it gets worse. Like, I didn't have all the legs. And not all the legs came out. And they never did.
They never did?
They never did.
Where are they?
So you're just like a half human, half
that
spider
I ingested
hybrid?
them and they're gone.
Or they're just...
No, that's not fair. That's not fair. So
that would explain something,
there's
actually.
Thanks. Thank you for that. It was terrifying. And there were so many spiders in our house because of where we live. Like, when we were kids, if you were thirsty, you'd like turn on the tap in the bathroom and drink out of it. You guys do?
When we were kids, as of today.
I use a glass now, something with a straw, something reusable. But yeah, you would go to do that at night and something would come crawl. There were just so many spiders next to the woods.
So we're about to go into Screampark at this point. We might have to bleep out some of my reactions, some of my reactions.
Yeah, we're going in together.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Buddy, I don't sleep already. Like, I'm never going to sleep again. You're very close to me, so I know. It's okay. I'm okay with it. We lost Keisha. I want to be in the back. I'm like, where are my children? That was insane. I'm like, so fast. Slow down. You guys went too fast through the moving tunnel. I had to get through that. There was no way I was taking that for longer. I so lost your phone. Okay. Excuse me, sorry I said that. We're okay. I'm so close. Yeah, This is what David was describing. No, I'm not looking. No. I can't. Back of my neck. That was it. Like that for some reason did it. I'm done. That was it. Yeah. That was it.
Hello? Will you please help us? Please. They won't let us go. They won't let us go, please. They won't let us go. They won't let us go, please.
So you get the gist of what's happening in here, right, guys?
Oh, that was such a fantastic night. It was so fun, and I can't imagine the work that goes into creating Screampark.
I'm going to say that now that I've done it once and had my pants scared off, I think I can do this again. Now, but I was spoiled. So I was right behind Marshall. Marshall was wearing this sort of patterned shirt, and I was right behind Marshall, who's very tall. And I didn't look at everything as we were walking by. And then right behind me was our friend's daughter. And I mean, right behind me. She was holding on to me at all times. So I was a little spoiled in that I was never alone except for one piece. And you might have heard there where Chris actually says that I remember you. You know, I was alone for a little bit, and the hairs on the back of my neck started to stand up, and I was a little freaked out, and I started looking for all you people.
I would recommend Screampark to anybody who's in for a good fright.
Yeah, and I'll say, I'll go again with you, Marshall.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it again next year. And on our way out, we chatted with a few people. The first one was Mark Bingeman.
Hey everybody, Mark Bingeman here, and President of Bingemans. And listen, thanks for joining us for Screampark. Hope you enjoyed the little preview, the sneak peek, and for our tester night. And no, listen, we're super stoked at what's going on, and the outdoor scenes are more in depth than what they have been in the past. A bunch of new settings and a whole bunch of different items. The whole Scream team's been working on this for really since last year, but definitely over the last 4 months, getting this set up. So we certainly hope that you guys liked it.
We did. I've never been through something like that before in my life. That is
okay.
Terrifying.
So for a first timer,
terrifying.
Listen, I can hear the chainsaw guy right behind me.
Oh yeah. Is there more than one, or does he just move around a lot?
He is very elusive. He can be at anywhere at any time.
There was for me, who's never been through, I struggled with people pleading for help.
Oh yeah.
But I couldn't.
Because you don't know if they're actually a patron, or if they're or maybe they're an actor, or maybe something else.
Maybe something else. Yeah.
There's a lot of something else back there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen anything so scary.
Well, that's good to hear.
Is it?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, is there a hotline I can call
Listen,
when I can't sleep?
if there are people that can't make it through, no offense, but we just love that.
I know. I thought that I got instructions that I could yell chicken.
Yes.
But I didn't have to.
Yeah, lots of chicken areas. But listen, it never fails. Every year there are a select few that enjoy it so much, they wet their pants.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon. And when we do that, all the staff at the end of the night celebrate. They feel badly for those patrons, but secretly behind the scenes, they're giving each other high fives.
Amazing. Well, you've got an incredible selection of actors. Everybody in there was so generous, definitely making sure everybody in our large group had a scare, and we really appreciate that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, for us, it's a fantastic start to a great year, and we're excited to see more stuff going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
All right. Thanks for everything.
We caught up with two thrill seekers, Chris and Adrian, after our experience.
I don't know if Chris was kind of chicken, so I was.
I didn't go first.
No. I was first. I was like, there was someone there. There was someone there, and Chris is like, someone where? I was like, hey, can I have your finger?
So that one moment you come out of, two moments. So first going into the first trailer here and getting through that claustrophobic kind of tunnely section.
Yep.
That was terrifying for me. That was not a good one. No. And then I think when you get out of, there was a particular section, just the moment you step out, there was a man there with a chainsaw. I had visions of him slicing my stomach in half. So yeah, I think the actors are great.
The actors are really
fantastic.
good.
They do a good job. They stay in character.
This year's Screampark had so much horror and gore and so much more, and I was super excited for Sarah and I to speak to Steve, who along with his Scream team creates Screampark every year.
Yeah, my name is Steve, and I'm the facilities manager with Bingemans, and me and my team, we build Screampark. So we start the planning process in right now. We make improvements throughout this time of the year and start thinking about what we're going to do in the upcoming season. In the spring, we go down to a haunted trade show in the United States, and we pick out all the latest and greatest props. And then about June, we start building all the attractions and, right up until the day that we open. So obviously we play into everyone's fears as much as we can and all your typical phobias and that sort of thing. But, one of the things we like to, try and execute the most is the mix of creepy and entertainment. So, chainsaw going. So in some of the scares, we try and get people from above, from below, off the side. We want to change, the scenery that you're in. So having people duck or crawl or go in confined spaces and really mix it up, right? You want to change people's environment to make it more interesting.
So is this rooted in a love of horror, or did this something kind of grow for you as you started building Screampark?
Yeah, Screampark has evolved just over the years. So, every year we try and change things and we try and add new scares, new areas, and build upon what's worked in the past.
I wanted more details about this horror convention that Steve spoke about.
Yeah, it's massive. There's all sorts of all the latest and greatest animatronics are on sale, and costumes and static props, and there's tours of some of the biggest haunted houses that are out there, multi-million-dollar attractions, and you get to kind of see what's new and upcoming and stay on trend. You should definitely come check out Screampark. It's new, it's bigger, it's I would say the best year yet, and there's lots of great scares, and you won't be disappointed.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thanks,
you. Steve. That was great.
First time through, so.
Bonn Park is made possible with the support of the Kitchener Public Library and the Kitchener-Waterloo Community Foundation.
Our show is produced by Sarah Geidlinger
and Marshall Ward,
with audio engineering by Sarah Geidlinger.
Bonn Park's original music is by Alan Lung. Harry, still with us? We want to tell you about a fun project that we have. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We have another podcast called An Unscripted Spectacle, Wrestling with Wrestling. Here's Colin Hunter of Kayfabe News to tell you all about it.
Welcome to An Unscripted Spectacle, Wrestling with Wrestling. I'm Colin Hunter from Kayfabe News. Marshall is utterly obsessed with professional wrestling. Sarah is utterly perplexed by professional wrestling. On each episode of An Unscripted Spectacle, Marshall and Sarah talk with a different guest from the world of wrestling. Promoters, referees, journalists, and current and past stars of the squared circle to talk deeply about the strange magic of professional wrestling that has enchanted Marshall his whole life. Can they turn Sara into a fellow connoisseur of professional wrestling? She'll need some convincing.
I find out who Jimmy Corderas is.
Who the heck are you?
Oh, well, that's a good question. For those who don't know, I spent the better part of over 2 decades working in WWF/WWE, mostly as a referee inside the ring.
I have the honor of meeting the magnificent Lufisto.
I heard that you were described as the first lady of hardcore. I've just recently found out what hardcore is.
Yeah, thanks to Madman Pondo.
When I've learned that I was going to be inducted, it was like, it is now my time to tell the story of women's wrestling. Because so many times I've heard, oh, this is the first time this happens in women's wrestling history. And I'm like, no.
I learned all about the storytelling and writing process from Tom Casiello.
Yeah, I was in soap operas for 14 years. I was at Young and the Restless last. That was from 2009 to 2011. And so I thought, I'll go in for the interview. I'll be honest with them. If I blow it, I blow it. Not the end of the world. And I was there for 6 years. And I rose up the ranks to managing lead writer. And it was the most insane time period of my entire life.
I got a new skincare regime from RJ City.
Checking out your hair, and I wish that mine looked like yours. You have beautiful locks.
Thank you. The secret, this isn't a plug, it feels like an endorsement, is aloe vera. I have it here. I put it on my skin. I put it in my hair. I use the gel. I put a couple drops of peppermint in.
I have a plant right there on my
Good.
fridge.
Cut it open, squeeze it out, and put it, honestly, wherever you want. It's good for you.
I find out that Colt Cabana is just famous enough that he can still buy groceries. And Tyson Kidd tells me all about the people's elbow. Who knew?
Tyson comes to a complete stop, then brings his leg over the guy like he's going to do a leg drop. But the leg like keeps circling past the guy, and then he drops an elbow on the guy.
Oh, and the elbow represents like all the people of the fans?
Like
he's been voted, he's going to drop this elbow?
Well, he started calling himself the people's champion, and then that move just became the people's elbow.
And then there's also, as you know, there's the people's strudel.
Yeah. I mean, there's the people's eyebrow. There's a lot of the people. Got a lot of people.
So check out an unscripted spectacle, Wrestling with Wrestling. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.